Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Armadillo Build-A-Figure wave, Morlun. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we continue looking at this Marvel Legends Armadillo Build-A-Figure wave, and we are into the comic book characters now, and another Spider-Man villain, someone else to add to the Rogues Gallery. This time round a more modernised villain, if you will. It is of course Morlun, who is after those Spider-Man souls, those totems, if you will. And yeah, he looks very nice. I always enjoy adding new characters to the shelf, and exactly what we get here with Morlun. He does come with two interchangeable heads and the Build-A-Figure piece for the Armadillo. There he is on the side of the box, that same image on the back, as well as a write-up that reads, "From the darkness, the vampire Morlun hunts Spider-Man in an effort to slay the superhero and feed on his powers." And then, as always, you get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to build the Armadillo Build-A-Figure. Today we're looking at Morlun. I didn't think he was technically a vampire, it's just very much the totems, but I'll get into it. Let's open them up. So here we have Morlun out of the packaging with that interchangeable head, which I told you about. This time the teeth are on show, a little bit more of an evil expression. And then of course we get the Build-A-Figure piece for the Armadillo Build-A-Figure. You know the score, subscribe to the channel, come back because I always build the Build-A-Figure once I've looked at all the figures in the wave, and we are nearly there. Today we are taking a closer look at Morlun, which is the first time in Legends form, which is very nice. As I said, I think Spider-Man has arguably one of the best Rogues Galleries in comics, whether DC or Marvel, and I like adding to that collection. And Morlun's quite a unique character, as on the back of the box it said he's a vampire. He's not technically a vampire, he's part of like a family called the Inheritors that basically go around the multiverse hunting down Spider-Men or Spider-Women. They're after the spider totem, essentially. They want to eat on their soul, it sort of grants them power. He has like the DNA of multiple animals and tons of different abilities, and yes, he looks like a vampire, but I assure you he's not. And Hasbro did originally tease this figure by showing us his hand, and let me show you his hand. And when I first saw this, my mind instantly went to Morbius from the animated show. Because they weren't allowed to use blood, he's fed on plasma. So I thought this was originally a tease for the Morbius in animated form. Maybe we will still get that on retro card, but I am happy to add Morlun to the shelf. As I said, he is the first time in a Legends line. So let's take a closer look. Morlun's looking quite dapper in his three-piece suit, also with this brooch here to match his eyes. Complements those red evil eyes with that sinister little smile. He's got a receding hairline up top just like me, but he has got plenty of hair as it sits over the shoulders and then down the back, and it is just black, but it is nicely molded and just sit over the suited body pretty well. But yeah, Morlun, as I said, is part of a family of Inheritors. Definitely has characteristics of a vampire as he sort of feeds on the Spider-Man totems, their souls, their essence, if you will. And yeah, this other head, let's swap it out. Seems like Morlun is ready to feast as his teeth are out and showing this time round. I actually do prefer the other head as it's more of a sinister sort of smile compared to the ready to attack head. But I like having options as always, so not going to complain about that at all. So yeah, you have options up top with the head sculpt. We'll keep this on as we look at the rest of the figure. Now it sort of reminds me of the Hellfire Club with his attire. I think they've got the same sort of collar pieces or cuff pieces, sorry. But it is on a normal sort of suited Marvel Legends body, which I'm sure we've seen before. You've got the pins there. And then this top piece, this top little layer, this three-piece pit of the suit is all the way down. Very old school. It goes all the way down to the back. Few little details there, but nothing major. It is like a very long sort of cloak style, oldie-timey suit. I doubt anyone's wearing suits like this anymore. And his cuffs are a sort of grey tone, which match the trousers. Again, pins on the feet, on the knees, sorry, nothing special about them. And then those shoes. Now, he is okay to stand, but sometimes these legs are a little bit awkward, or these shoes are definitely hard to stand. So nothing special here. I'm assuming it's a normal suited body underneath this sort of rubbery plastic three-piece, and there's maybe a little bit of tooling up there for that neckerchief and brooch, etc. But again, nothing we haven't seen before from Legends form. I do think this is just clever reuse to get a brand new character. One set of hands with Morlun, and as I said, they have the sort of suckers on, if you will. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see. So I've already showed you these, but there you go, those suckers on either side. Very nicely sculpted on, and the paint apps are pretty good on them as well. Nice little punches of red to match the sort of sculpted detail on those suckers. But yeah, this is a very nice figure. Represents the character pretty well from the comics. He is quite an agile character, as I said. He has lots of abilities. I don't think you're going to get crazy amount of range off this figure in regards to articulation. I think there might be a crunch under the sort of rubbery front piece, but you're not going to be able to get much out of it. But there is a crunch there. You can see the crunch moving. It's just this rubbery plastic overlay is going to limit it, unfortunately, but it's still there. The arms will go up. There's a swivel at the bicep. Double jointed elbow is pretty good. Hinge, swivel at the wrist. Legs go out okay. Swivel at the top of the thigh. Double jointed knees. He can kick his own ass. That's not bad. And a decent ankle pivot. So as you would expect in regards to range from Marvel Legend, I do think this character could do with a little bit more. He is a bit of an agile. As I said, he has the DNA of every animal or something like that. So yeah, you can get him into some crazy poses. Maybe this figure won't, but the character's definitely capable of it. And you have options. You can either have him standing there with a little cheeky, sinister grin, or literally ready to feast on many of the Spider-Men throughout the multiverse. But yeah, I like adding new characters to the shelf, and that's exactly what we get here with Morlun. Moving straight into some comparisons, here we have Morlun compared to an actual vampire in the 616 and two versions of that character with Morbius. So, and I still prefer this old school black and red version of Morbius, but here's the newer one we got last year, and that movie has been pushed back again until April 2022, so it's going to be a while before we see it in movie form as well. But as I said, here is Morbius compared to Morlun, and on the back of the box it called Morlun a vampire, but I don't technically think the inheritors are vampires. Yes, they have the same characteristics, but they're only really interested in the Spider-Verse people. They only want those spider souls, those spider totems, if you will, where Morbius wants blood, or unless, as I said, unless you're watching the animated show, he wants plasma, but you get what I'm trying to say. So maybe I have to get the super producer Rich M to check that for me, but I don't technically think Morlun is a vampire in the sort of terms that we think, where he wants blood. He does want blood, but spider totem blood. It's very confusing. It's a comic, but still, same style, I have to admit, but definitely different characters. Here we have Morlun compared to two iconic Spider-Man villains, of course, with Carnage and Venom. Here we have Morlun compared to some females in the Spider-Verse with Black Cat, and the only other comic book character in this wave, it is of course Shriek on this brand new pinless double jointed female body, which is still crazy to me. But again, the future is now. We are in 2022, and Morlun, just a bit taller than them both, as he should be, but again, looks great. Will fit very nicely into a Spider-Verse collection, I am sure. And we couldn't get out of here without seeing Morlun compared to some actual Spider-Men. So we have Miles Morales and Peter Parker, that retro Spider-Man, of course. And Morlun is just a little bit taller than the retro Spider-Man, which I'm absolutely fine with. I think they scale pretty well. And of course, last but by no means least, here we have Morlun compared to Captain Britain and Worthy, Hellfire Hank. So, final thoughts on Morlun. I am very happy to add new characters to the display, as always. And Morlun has definitely had a part to play without the Spider-Verse in modern time. He debuted in like the early 2000s, I think, so he's still quite a modern character. I say that, but that was nearly 20 years ago already. That's how old I'm getting. But still, Morlun has got a part to play, and the inheritors themselves are very interesting and add a lot of mysticism to the spider totems and where the Spider-Man abilities come from and the origins of Spider-Man and all that. It sort of took Spider-Man in a different direction for a while, and again, he jumps around the multiverse. He tries to feed on all the other Spider-Man as well. He's actually quite afraid of the 616 and Peter Parker because they've learnt to destroy him a few times, but again, this guy's immortal. He comes back to life several times. He feeds on the life of humans. He feeds on their life force, essentially, to make him immortal, but he has to feed on spider totems. That's what gives him his power. So he definitely, as I said, has those characteristics of a vampire. So maybe he is a vampire to a certain certain degree, but again, he's not after their blood. He wants their life force, their souls, if you will. But again, a new character for the display. I am very happy. You let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, do you like Morlun? Is he one of your favourite spider villains, or is he quite unknown to you? Always curious to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you want to hear more Marvel Legends talk, reviews, all that good stuff, check the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. As always, my name is Dan W. Follow me on Instagram, it's Dan Who, and I'm on Twitter at Dan Who Reviews. Tweet me and I will, of course, see you on the next one.